A change in the weather at the Fringe, and this particular video is definitely focused on the Edinburgh Fringe, but really any Fringe festival where you're doing a run of more than just a few days. And I mention the change in the weather because here at Pavilion Gardens Cafe in Brighton, the unofficial headquarters of FringeReview and officially Fringe venue #1 at Brighton Fringe, which is a festival that runs pretty much throughout the month of May, the Edinburgh Fringe is still notionally focused on 3 weeks, and with a few days before the Fringe, sometimes known as week 0, and quite a lot of shows still playing for 3 weeks. You're going to notice in Edinburgh particularly a change in the weather. And we refer back over the years to, do you remember the one in Edinburgh where it was sunny pretty much all of the time, or another Edinburgh Fringe where it pretty much rained every day? You'll also find, I think particularly with the current state of the weather, is one day you're having a brilliant day, the sun is shining, everyone seems to be taking your flyers, it's a positive day, and literally can happen in the same day, but the next day you wake up, the clouds are heavy over the castle and it starts to rain, and it rains and it rains and it rains, and you've still got flyers to give out and you're still trying to build up audience for your show, and you notice that box office sales are pretty low, sometimes they can even be at 0, and your strategy was to get out on the Royal Mile and go and flyer, and you may, if you've got the budget, have even paid a flyering team or a flyer to do that for you. And a number of things happen. One is that people start to rush because they don't want to get soaked, and they're trying to get to a venue, they might be trying to get to work, and they've got absolutely no time to stop and chat to you. And also you might notice, for example, flyers start to get damp and even wet as you try and give them out. And one simple tip straight away is to put those flyers in a really easy to access, you can get different sizes, they're not very expensive, polythene bag, see-through bag, ideally with a little zip on it, and you keep most of your flyers in there and you take them out one at a time and they remain dry, and they can be easily whipped out. Just a little hack there, a little tip. Others is simply to make sure that you're wearing a coat or a jacket with an inside pocket. That always works pretty well too, or you've got a little side bag and you can keep them fairly safe in there as well. But what you don't want is your flyers to get soggy. The next thing, if you want people to stop, and ideally this is where it's a good idea to flyer in a pair at least, is to have a big umbrella. Now the problem of the really crowded parts of Edinburgh is there isn't room for an umbrella for everybody, so you might want to just step to the side, claim a little bit of space, but have an umbrella for 2. Get one of the big golf ones, you can often get them, I think it's JD Sports, or what's the other one called, Sports Direct, $4.99. They're fairly sturdy, so we don't want a tiny little umbrella that's going to blow inside out. But if you do get somebody showing an interest in one of your flyers or your invitation, that they will stop for a moment, they might more likely to stop if they're dry and you're dry. And it's a generous gesture, it's a nice gesture to say come out of the rain for a moment, and sometimes people might just do that, literally to come out of the rain, and the deal is they'll listen to your pitch about your show. Certainly I think you need to have a plan B if on a particular day the weather is just so bad it's going to be really hard to flyer, is to be able to get very quickly onto social media, is to, if you're allowed to in your venue or you've negotiated it, switch on a 2-for-1 offer, switch on a special offer if you can. It can be that you just need to recognise people don't have time, they don't want to get wet, you're desperate to get tickets out there for that day, and that's when the free tickets work quite well and people will grab one on the way past. Ideally always have a ticket, if that's going to happen, with a flyer as well. And I think the best thing to do is, if you're flyering people who aren't really stopping to find out what your show is, but they are going to take a ticket, is to have the free tickets stapled to a flyer, so they don't just take a free ticket off you, but they actually, are going to have a look at what the show's about, and they're more likely to come as well. So it's being ready to realise that the stakes go up with bad weather. It gets harder to flyer, people tend to hurry on, and all of these little things can help you still flyer on a wet day. This might sound a bit geeky, but something we absolutely use as reviewers, for example, is, I think the one I use is the Weather Channel, and it has a kind of paid thing within it, but the free version is more than enough to give you 6 hours and 24 hours of the absolute satellite picture of where the clouds are, and I find it really accurate. And you can just notice that there's a good chance of the rain that is just pelting down at 3 o'clock. We're going to get half an hour maybe at 5, and that's where just the whole team comes out and extra flyers to make use of that time. And people then are quite often in a relieved state. They're noticing that the sun has come out, they're noticing that the wind might have dropped a bit, and so they're in a happy space. They're more likely to stop. And there's a sense of relief, and in that good energy, that's when somebody might also take one of your flyers or stop to listen to your pitch for the show. But don't assume that the weather's going to be great. Don't assume that even within one day where you wake up to morning sunshine, which I did this morning, that it's not going to cloud over and be a bit grey. Here in Brighton, my Weather Channel app is telling me that in the next couple of hours there's a 30 to 40% chance of rain. Doesn't seem to be doing it at the moment, which is good. But these are all just simple tips about good weather and bad weather and changing weather. I think I'd just say the last thing too is not to go into a pessimistic frame of mind. Particularly at the Edinburgh Fringe, the weather is very changeable. Shows still do sell tickets. It's definitely good to be able to switch to social media and to up your virtual flyering if it's raining outside. But ultimately, don't get too down about it. It will average out. It's August and it's the summer, and even a couple of days of rain will normally give way to a couple of days, a couple of half days of sunshine as well. But there is a relationship, I believe, between the weather and your ticket sales, and that you don't fall victim to that, but you can actually have fun with it, get creative with it, and the weather itself, is part of reality, and it's certainly part of the Edinburgh Fringe, so go for it.